Hi, I'm Ann Grace Siebert, Director of Alumni and Engagement here at Collegiate. I'm thrilled to be here with legendary coach Charlie McFall and one of our co-captains of this year's football team, Jack Stepanian. Welcome.
Thank you.
We're so glad that you all could be with us today to celebrate our homecoming and relive some of our awesome wins throughout the years. Jack, did you know that Coach McFall worked at Collegiate for 43 years?
I didn't know it was that long, I'm gonna be honest.
I've been here a long time, but you got a few years on me, Coach. Tell me if I'm correct. You started coaching in 1987, all the way through 2006?
That was that first year.
That's pretty amazing.
I was already assistant coach, but I think I became head coach in either 86 or 87, I can't remember.
And if I'm correct, you were inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2014.
Yeah, they were hard up.
Oh, no, I don't think that's true. Well, Jack, enlighten us. I have a feeling that the football season hasn't quite been what it usually is.
Yeah, it's definitely true. We've been out there every day with masks on and trying to do as much as we can, but obviously we can't have any games or anything. But at the same time, it's really nice to just be able to be out there because a lot of my friends who go to public schools can't even be on the field. So I'm grateful for that, but other than that, it's fine.
Well, awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. And we're sorry that there's no homecoming game this year, but we want to still celebrate the team and celebrate the seniors and all of our athletes. So a fun way to do that was to find an awesome old game. So today, to tell us about 1999 win over the Saints, Coach McFall and Jack Stepanian. Thank you.
So, Coach, I want to start off by asking what the St. Chris Collegiate rivalry means to you. Because I know you've coached in hundreds of games and a ton of Collegiate St. Chris games, but what does that rivalry in particular mean to you?
That was number one as far as rivalry. Even when I first started coaching, I was a ninth grade football coach. Right. The biggest game was St. Christopher's. That was definitely, we've had a great rivalry for many years.
Yeah. I know I've been on the team since my freshman year, and no matter each team's records, wins and losses, going into that game, it's like a clean slate.
Exactly.
Both teams, it's 100% an emotional game no matter what.
Exactly right. It's huge.
Yeah, so I was talking to my dad last night, and he brought up from his 1987 Collegiate St. Chris game, you gave them this shirt before the game in the locker room and said, no matter what happens, even if we lose, don't take your pads off because we have these shirts. So I thought that was a pretty cool story.
We were pretty fortunate. We ended up undefeated that year.
Right. Yeah, I know he still has his jacket and tells so many stories from that game. I want to ask about the 1999 team and what do you remember specifically about that team?
Well, it was a really, really, really good team, and I can't remember all the games, but I certainly can remember that St. Christopher game when we had to go for two, because I didn't go for ties, I'll tell you that, because there were no overtimes. Every game you went into, you should be going in to win the game.
Right.
And we were fortunate because some of these guys over here made some great plays.
Right. Yeah, I wish we were able to talk to some of the players from that team, see what they had to say about that game. So, all right, how about we zoom them in?
Let's try it. Here from the 1999 football team, QB Warren Hunter, Harry Wilson, Blake Smith.
Hey, I'm Harry Wilson, class of 2001.
I'm Warren Hunter, class of 2001.
Hi, my name is Blake Smith, class of 2000.
Thank you all for joining us today, Coach and I.
And Blake, thank you for making that 2-point conversion.
Well, thank you, Coach. You're way too kind. We were not a particularly good team coming into the last game of the year with a losing record, but that's what a rivalry is all about, because that's all that matters at the end of the year is whether you beat your rival. So, we thank you for leading us and putting us in the right positions, and it was an honor to obviously play for you and with these two guys.
Yeah, thank you all for having us on. This is such a cool idea, and this has been fun for the three of us to catch up for sure.
Yeah, pleasure being here.
So I want to ask also y'all three, what do you remember? Because I know y'all had the upset win against Godwin that year, I think, if I did my research correctly.
Was it an upset?
Well, I don't know if it was an upset, but it was yeah, so what do y'all remember about that game?
So one funny thing, talking about that Godwin game, we had played Landon the weekend before, and we had a few guys get injured, and I think we only had maybe 23 guys on the roster to start the season. And Blake actually went into assembly on Monday morning of the Godwin week and made an announcement asking anyone in school that wanted to come play varsity football to come out. I think Blake, maybe Coach McFall didn't love that, but we got a couple guys who ended up making a major impact later on in the season and in that final game in particular.
Yeah, right.
Which year did we score 52 points against Godwin?
It was this year, and I think it was at 56. What was it?
56. It was
56. So, Harry obviously had a bigger, brighter football career than us. So
He did that game.
Harry's memory of some of the games weren't as good as Warren and I. So I actually did a little video replay to, refresh everyone's mind last night. And, so Harry's up to speed. He can now tell you about his fumble strip for, 70, 80-yard run to seal the game at the end. That was really what I remembered.
That was fantastic.
That was a good game. That was a good game for us all. I think we all remember the Godwin games really well because it was under the lights, Friday night lights, and the public school around the way, and all the things that come along with that, right? And it was funny, because Blake was sending out clips on a really small, like, TV that had an embedded VCR. This was last night, and what's cool is that we were watching the clips, and on the sideline you could see my little brother Russell Wilson as like a 10-year-old ball boy, and it was cool. I sent him those clips, and so he could reminisce as well. But it was just what a great game. I mean, I think the one thing that's really crazy about that game that I had forgotten about, and Warren and Blake remembered, is that the lights went out in that game. They took the lights went out. Apparently on accident,
yes, I remember that. Yeah,
as I don't know if it was a prank. I don't know if it was on purpose, but the lights went out at halftime, Warren.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for about 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, so I think they tried to change the momentum. It did not work, but it was a good game. It was fun.
You know what I remember a lot about after that game? The Douglas Freeman coach called, I don't know how many times, to find out what we did to beat them, because he wanted to do the same thing.
We had Harry Wilson running punt returns. That helped a lot.
Harry transferring to Douglas Freeman might have been their only hope.
So, Coach McFall, I know that 99 St. Chris game was the head coach of St. Christopher's, Coach Kemper's last game.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to know about your relationship with him throughout the years, especially.
Dick Kemper and I have been really good friends forever. And I thought he was a really good football coach, and we really had to be prepared to play St. Christopher's because they were well coached. And again, that was a huge game for us. And I'm still good friends with Dick Kemper today. He's a great guy.
He's now, doesn't he do something with the VISAA?
Yeah,
Isn't
he's
he
like
head
the
of
president
right.
of it.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's what Coach Palio was telling me yesterday.
Yeah, he really put a lot into it.
Yes, sir. So now I just have to ask, what were you thinking about when you decided to go for 2 there at the end of the game?
I always thought that when you went into a football game, you went in to try to win. A tie wasn't part of it.
Right.
And, just when we got down there, in my mind, there was no doubt that we weren't going to go for it.
Right.
The only thing was what play we were going to run. And the play that everybody could remember Collegiate used to run back there was 24. And I had called timeout and called 24. Then I started thinking, everybody in the world knows what play we're running. So I changed it to 23. And luckily Warren was able to call it, because I remember Lewis Little out there saying, no, 24, 24. And thank goodness Warren stayed with 23, and so did Blake. Because we got it.
It's even worse.
What was that?
Yeah, sorry, Coach. It's even worse than that. I got confused too. And so Warren I remember Warren saying left, as in we were running to the left, because I just wasn't real sure. So he was telling me that while at the line of scrimmage. So they knew, they were ready, but we
were out of timeout, so couldn't call another timeout. And I was just so happy that everybody ran it correctly.
Yeah, so St. Chris got the ball back. We all converted the 2-point conversion, and then 46 seconds left, St. Chris gets the ball back, and then went.
Rob Longo intercepted a pass.
Yeah, he threw a pick. Yeah, that's what I was watching it last night. I was going to ask about that too.
Jack, you skipped ahead a part. I think it's real important. A struggling offense with a line that weighed 165 needed a spark, and Harry and Warren hooked up on a 30-some yard pass that Harry took across and into the end zone to get us to the 2-point conversion. So that was pretty key. That wouldn't have that we needed that. We were not moving the ball that fast.
Yeah, our line was not big.
Saying it nicely.
I think we also had a punt return for a touchdown in that game that was called back. I don't know who was the culprit on that one. Who remembers that?
I'm not going to call him out.
Call him out. He needs to be called out.
I, as a lawyer, I believe in serving your time and your dues. I'm gonna let that one go. But yeah, it was Harry's 70-some yard punt return. When we were showing the clips to each other last night, I was very fortunate. If any of us fumbled, I didn't send that clip. I just fast forwarded and moved to when we scored a touchdown. So
well, Coach McFall, we also talked about how many touches Blake got in that game and really throughout that year. I mean, it seemed like, I don't know if Alex Smith was throwing you some extra dollars in your pocket that particular year or that particular game, but Blake's got a lot of touches and a lot of shine. So, but I was reminded how good of a back Blake was. I was like, this man was a nice little tailback. So
you know why I was good friends with his dad?
Yeah.
In 1964, my junior year, we came down and played collegiate. And his dad was a senior. And they beat us because his dad intercepted one of my passes in the end zone. He never let me forget it.
I appreciate the touches. I was a senior, a fifth-year senior. Don't you forget, I had extended that time. So you guys had another year, and you guys went on to obviously a better year in 2000 once you guys were a little bit bigger and a little stronger. So.
Well, Jack, Coach would probably tell you this, but I think, obviously we all are loving watching Russell and all that he's done over the years, but Harry kind of was Russell before Russell. And I think every game we went into, if you had to game plan against us, you weren't worried about me, who could throw the ball about 35 yards as hard as I could, and Blake, who was, 120 pounds, but everyone knew that Harry was our weapon. So trying to get him a ball with 3 defenders on him, we saw some clips last night. I'd still would just lob it up into coverage, knowing that Harry could go get it. So he made a very average quarterback feel a lot better most games. So
I got it playing behind me.
Well, I told
so awesome.
I told Harry he'd have been a good quarterback.
I agree. I could have done a couple other things if Harry had been quarterback, I think.
Dual threat guy. Turn Warren into Gronkowski.
I don't know if I had the mindset, the mental fortitude to play a quarterback that like my brother does, but it would have been. And I think we had a good offense for me to play running back or some sort of hybrid. It was good. We had a good quarterback, good leader, and so it's such an interesting time looking back. I mean, how many years ago? 22 years ago now, and also like how you talked about size, Blake, like how small we look. and like skinny. Like I'm like, dude, this is like 100 pounds ago. Like what is happening? But it's amazing you even survived those games. But I mean, those were the best moments, man. Like the St. Chris games, and even when we weren't playing, like, so if you rewind it to 1993 or 1994, when we were like more, and you probably remember like being at the games on the side, right off on the side, playing tackle football with like 100 people and not knowing what's going on, but it was just tackle football. It's just great to be out of those games and just the atmosphere. And, there's nothing like kind of like playing on a Saturday at like 1 p.m., the same time that they're playing college football games. So it kind of made you feel like you were playing at the next level or something like that. So yeah, a lot of memories from those games. And then the fact that like I feel like you back then you really kind of disliked these guys, for no reason. Like I didn't know any of these kids really, but I just disliked them like so much. But now you spend time with these guys as adults, and you realize how great a lot of these guys are, and the great families they come from, and the great families that they've been building and growing. And hell, I mean, my best friend Warren is now wearing a St. Christopher shirt on this Zoom right now. So, we can all come together and enjoy it,
Yeah, I think, Harry, that's an interesting thing to mention. I noticed that a lot in my role here, and even got to coach in the St. Chris collegiate game on the St. Chris side at the varsity level for a couple of years. I think back in 1999, there wasn't as much, travel ball for sports outside of school. So there weren't as many opportunities. I look in our middle school right now, and we've got guys who are playing, travel across this fall. Obviously is a little different, but they're all intermixed in all these teams. So they have these relationships. There's still the desire to beat collegiate and for collegiate to beat St. Chris. I know it, but you're right. It has a little different, feel these days too. And Jack, I think, I don't know if you'll get to this, but we were talking about last night, just this fall has been, so tough for all you guys. I know, and I enjoyed hearing you say before that y'all are still able to get out to practice and be around each other, because those are the memories that we're so sad that all the high school athletes are missing. But I know, you've had an awesome run, and y'all have got a great group, and really being around each other and getting to support each other through that is going to be so important. Obviously, a lot of other issues going on right now, but high school football and high school sports are really important. It's something that you get one shot at, and so I love hearing that y'all are still able to be out on the field and work together and get those experiences, even if you're not going to have that, those games.
Yeah, it's definitely been one thing that's been nice, is even if like, no matter what we're doing throughout the day, school-wise, or everything that's just going on in the world, it's nice to just be able to go out there and kind of take your mind off it for a while. And now last 3 weeks, we've been having 7-on-7 flag football games with masks on, so it's been great just to be able to run around with my buddies. So, Harry, you mentioned Saturdays at 1s. Back in the day, all kinds of college football games going on, but what are y'all up to these days?
Saturdays at 1? Oh man. Well, now I am probably coaching soccer games or running kids around. I know I have a 8, 5, and 3-year-old, all girls. And so it's a lot of just parenting, man. And my kiddos aren't playing like kind of next level sports yet. I guess Gracie, my 8-year-old, is doing a lot of field hockey, but so we're just like parenting, adulting, a lot of adulting on Saturdays, and then in the fall, like kind of dedicating Sunday to NFL football and watching my brother and those teams play. So that's about it for me. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, so I guess you could say my Saturdays have a little bit of an Uncle Rico flavor. I'm still chasing that feeling, that 1 o'clock kickoff feeling. I go to a lot of college football games. It's kind of my hobby. Travel to college football games. So this year's been a big disappointment, but with obviously getting to go to games. But I obviously spend time with my family, and busy person with that. I've got a daughter, and I'm married, but I still get that football flavor on Saturdays at 1.
I love the Friday afternoon games and the Friday night games.
They're the best.
I still haven't really, I haven't been back on campus in a long time. I just know that I did come back in the January timeframe, and, but every time I come back, I'm just in awe of the facilities on campus in Northmoreland Road. And then of course up in Goochland, it's like, I shake my head and don't really have much to say, because it's just like, this is just an unbelievable place to not only to be a student athlete, but just to be a student, to have a campus and a group of faculty and staff, and of course peer group that is just, really second to none. And it's just amazing, the facilities though, from an athletic perspective. And I'm sure those that came before us, 20 years before us, probably thought the same thing about the campus when we were there, right? But it's just amazing how much the campus and the atmosphere has like just grown and changed and elevated, really, And it's just a great place to prepare for the next stage in your life, the next 4 years if you're a senior, wherever that might be, whether it be on a team or just as a student at the next level. So it's just, what a great place to spend your years prior to going to college.
Definitely.
Hey, Jack, you should by hook, trick or whatever, get your helmet. Because Harry is jealous that I got mine 22 years later, and you might want it. Don't let anyone throw it away. It's good
Yeah,
stuff.
they're actually. I know they're
fits.
gonna. I know they're getting new helmets soon.
Yeah, you guys' helmets are
the
probably
year
a
or the
little
next
better than
year.
ours.
So I might get mine.
Yeah, I would say, Jack, we got DirecTV the first year that Russell made the NFL, knowing that we weren't going to be able to watch every game in the Richmond market. But a lot of Sundays are spent watching the Seahawks and texting Harry about those games. So, but yeah, I think Saturdays are the same, just trying to, be around our kids and start getting them into the things that we had done and trying to make, some of the memories and things like that we were able to have playing together.
So yeah, thank you to Collegiate and Coach McFall and Jack. This is a pretty awesome homecoming that I hope you guys can have a virtual experience. Thank you for letting us be a part of it. I'm very impressed with what you guys have been able to put together practicing under all these circumstances. Thank you, Collegiate. Thank you to the Collegiate Alumni Association. Y'all have done a great job with keeping us in touch. We're proud to be Cougars.
Collegiate community, thank you so much for joining us here today with my interview with Coach McFall. Please enjoy the 1999 Collegiate versus St. Christopher's game streaming live from your living room.